got a bone to pick with these Riverside people telling me, hey, welcome to chat, rolling out the red carpet. Can't connect you to our servers. Check your internet connection. I'm like, you just greeted me. You said you were rolling out the red carpet. And then you go, just kidding, nerd.
You said hello. You can't just say hello and not welcome me in. It's a vampire rule, I think. Somewhere in that sphere. I don't know how that works. I'm not up to my vampires. I almost watched Nosferatu the other day.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in the mood yet.
I was going to say you were in too good of a mood. And you're like, I can't risk this bringing me down.
I'm ready to be scared and horned up at the same time. One of those days, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't tell if this is scary or bone-inducing. I can't, you know.
Well, we'll just see where it goes. Wherever it leads me, I'll go. It's just best not to fight it. Yeah.
Whew. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to Strangely Familiar. I forgot. I haven't done that.
Okay.
So episode 113.
I was just going to say, I'm like, hold on, let me try to guess what episode this is. Because I was going to guess maybe 110 or something. Okay, 113. Okay.
Yup, it's the, I think so. I always try to keep track, you know. That's the best thing I do in this podcast is keep track of what episode it is. And I'm still not perfect at it. I've still had mistakes in the past. But also keep putting them out every week. And this is the official Matt Jones birthday party episode.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I'm 42. That doesn't have a ring to it at all. Dang it.
Wow.
That's not fun.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if as a 42-year-old, if you'll be able to, have a successful hour-long conversation with an adult. And, if you do, we'll hear about it and you can tell me about it. But that's a joke.
Let's look up who I'm outliving. Celebrities who died at 41. Let's do an in memoriam.
Who do you officially get to put the stamp on? Okay.
Heavy hitters that I definitely deserve to outlive.
You don't hear a lot about people dying at 41. Oh, man. That's hard because...
It makes sense. It's a really famous one. A couple, but one... A few in the last... Whatever. I'll just start naming some. I would say the heaviest hitter, depending on your sphere, could be Kobe Bryant, tragically.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
okay.
You know what? Tonight, not getting in a helicopter. Not tonight, anyway.
No sirree, Bob.
Not tonight. Chester Bennington.
Wow.
41.
Okay.
Jane Austen, the novelist. Nate Dogg, the novelist.
Jane Austen died at 41? Yeah. I just know the name, but I didn't realize she was someone who died young.
That was old back then, probably.
I don't know when she was
a 41-year-old woman? Oh, yeesh. Let alone back. Ooh, yeah. Trevor Moore, whitest kids you know.
Oh.
There's a name.
Okay.
Brody Lee, the wrestler. Big Boss Man, the wrestler. There's probably going to be just a list.
Right, half the list is wrestlers, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well beyond their years.
Okay. Ooh, RIP. Central New York's own Dave Mirra of Dave Mirra BMX 2 for the GameCube. Probably also of 1. There's a big one. Yeah, very, very positive start. So
right, what in the world? Well, I guess for you it's positive because you're like, right? It was celebration of 41 complete years.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
42 complete years. I'm trying to think how ages work. No, I guess that'd be. You're not born at 1.
You're getting there.
Yep.
I'm completing my 42nd year on the planet. So.
Oh boy.
And I chalk it up to good decisions, good living, good diet, no booze, no red meat, no cheese, good sleep, healthy relationships, all the things that they say. So those people, they didn't have that Me, I got it in spades. All those things I just said. A plus. A plus for me. Happy birthday to me. I don't know. Go? I don't know.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. Age of convenience. My daddy worked hard for this.
So last year on my birthday, I started my 6 months of no drinking. So I'm debating whether or not to do that again. Because I could probably use that. I could probably get back into the gym hardcore again. It's fun. It's a fun moderation of like going hard for a while, of like with the gym and the health, and then just taking another handful of months off, just being a total recluse and derelict to society, and just
Yeah, right.
But that's moderation. Moderation is 6 on, 6 off. Right? Isn't that basically it? One way to do it.
Maybe you'd go, or to spice it up, do you go like try it 6 months, but a different pace, a different pattern? Would you try from like one birthday next, be like, I'm gonna go 2 like, or something like that, like just do 2 months on, 2 months off, flavors it up a little bit, keeps you honest. Or you could go the 3/4, go 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have options.
I would say, like, man, my motivation now would be like, I can tell I've put on like weight from where I was at my peak last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, the best motivation you can have for yourself is just feeling disgusting when you look in the mirror. It's great. It's a great motivator. It's being like, and looking at pictures of myself from like last summer when I was, hitting the gym every day hard, and I was like, wow, that guy, he's in good shape, and he's not me, but I could do it again. So that's why I'm like, I could probably do more than like 6 months to be good again, maybe more, maybe a lifestyle. Who knows?
Okay.
Also, we're coming into spring. We've passed the first day of spring. Morale is high. Seasonal depression is waning after it had waxed for many months. So we are shedding the wax. So
Yeah. The sun just came out here. It's been raining and cloudy all day, so the sun just came out. Pretty jazzed about that.
it's real. It's happening. I got into a discussion because last year I think I had a conversation with my dad about. I was like, people like talk about upstate New York like it's this beautiful place, and they have the seasons, and it's the weather, and it's so beautiful in the summer. And I was like, I don't think we've had that many beautiful days, and people trick themselves into it. So this year I'm starting a tally. I already have, and I've counted generously. I'm gonna say I've counted 3 nice days so far towards the end of March, and
Okay.
it's simple criteria. Like it's got to be at least 65 degrees. The sun's got to be out. It can't be too windy. It's got to be blue skies. The air's got to be fresh. There can't be snow on the ground, that kind of stuff. Because we all deserve better. Like, that's the thing. Like, I was talking about it, like, with my family. My grandmother was like, no, we've had more than that. I was like, don't trick yourself. You deserve better.
Stop with
Just
the
'cause
lies,
it's
Grandma.
51, just because it's 51 degrees and the sun's out, but there's still snow on the ground and it's windy, doesn't mean it's a nice day. It's nicer than it was, but we need to have standards for ourselves.
Yeah, you need a higher bar.
It's all relative. That's right. So that's why people are like, oh no, it's so nice here. And it's like, it's not. Not for the world, it's not. It's nice for here. Let's do better. Let's believe in something better. So I'm doing a count this year so I can demoralize myself and everybody else, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is. I'm not going to be happy when I finalize the count. It's not going to make me happier than if I didn't.
I'm sure I'll feel really solid when this this experiment's over. I'm sure I'll feel better for having done it.
Yeah. See, I told you we should be more depressed, you guys. You guys are trying to be happy.
Stop
See,
searching for
shouldn't have.
joy in things that are miserable. Stop it.
Yeah. You guys are dumb.
All right.
Yeah.
And the best is it's for something 100% uncontrollable too. So like you're yelling at people for their interpretation of weather. Like that's really abrasive.
So tell me, Mr. Jeff,
Yeah.
you just had a weekend journey to Bob's house. You
Did.
drove probably 7 hours to get there to watch some basketball, hang out for an extended weekend. The invite was sent to me. I rejected it early and never really gave too much hope that I would come, but there was a little, and then I didn't
There
come.
was. You made sure to dangle
disappointed
that
are you?
fruit. So
How disappointed are you?
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You dangled that bullshit because you're like, oh, I guess
50-50.
I could. That's
50-50.
50-50. Ask any of either of our listeners. 50-50 is that's dangling something. All right. There wasn't like man. There's a very small nope. There was legitimate consideration. So that's when that's when Bob and I focused and put in effort for about 10 days leading up with being like, hey, lots of gifts, solid gifts. There were snippets of things like articles. Folks, I sent this man articles. I sent him like Google Maps locations for like pinball places that we could hit up and stuff like that. Like really, I'm like, what will Matt Jones want out of this trip? Because you basically made it apparent that you're like, the time frame's too short. You thought about it so much, but you didn't think about anything positive that you could have. You like dangled it in front of me and then said, how can I convince myself it's not worth going? That's what you did, I think, internally. Because you're like, it's 4 hours of driving. I'm like, sir, it is 2 hours on a Friday, a full day, and then 2 hours on a Sunday. So let's stop acting like there's this 4 hour trip. Mind you, you were also using that as the logic to argue against the guy who's driving 7 hours. Pretty bad strategy if you ask me. So I'm like, well, I certainly will continue to pester you because that's a terrible excuse.
I didn't do fucking shit.
Yeah. I would say last weekend I was pretty pumped. I mean, it was always going to be a vibe thing. Unfortunately, work sucked the life out of me. I've had to go back in at nights, and I actually have to go in tonight. I won't say why, but it's not a good thing. And it's like, it's fine. It's fine. That Friday night, I think if I would have got out, in my head, if I could have got out at 3 that day, which I was trying to plan for, I would have gone. But I didn't get out till like 5:30. And I was in bed at 8 o'clock that night. That's where I was, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know. I won't make excuses. It doesn't matter. I wasn't excited for basketball either.
Okay.
I haven't watched a second of it. I know that was a lot of it. I knew it wouldn't have been the whole trip. It probably would have been fun watching it with you guys because I would have gambled money. But I don't know. You know what? It's not about me and my failures. It's about you and your successes. Tell me. Why don't you give us good news? Give us the good news about the hang.
Well,
how much money did you win?
Nope. Did not bet a lot, but man, I was like 0 for until like Sunday on these games. Sunday I did get a neat Kentucky money line plus the under when they were the underdog. So that one was pretty good, but we also did get we were joined on Thursday by a prior, technically the man from whom you won the championship off of. Justin joined us on Thursday for some hangs.
I'm good. I'm glad I got it. I didn't want to go. Yeah, good. It's good.
Yep. So we got to hang out with him, and then super producer Steve came into play, and he hung out. And you want to know what? He hung out Friday night. He had to go to Niagara Falls for a comedy show, and he came afterwards. So he drove from Auburn on Friday. Sounds familiar, folks? Because yes, we had this discussion about 2 minutes ago. Aside from that. And then Saturday, he made the adult decision to say, I have plans. But what I'm doing right now is more enjoyable than those plans. And he canceled those plans and told the person he couldn't do what he was supposed to do Saturday. And he hung out for another day. Yep. So we actually had people canceling plans in depth because Bob and I were so enjoyable to spend time with.
I believe it.
Yep.
I believe it, sister. You know, I lost. I lost on that one. I am bummed. I'm very bummed. I
Had really good chicken wings because I'm like, I'm not going to come to Buffalo and not have chicken wings somewhere. So we went to Bar Bill. Look it up if you Google Bar Bill. Legendary wings in Western New York. They were delightful. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it does suck. I mean, I did want to go. I was going to let my Friday, how the day went and the week, feel it out. And I was low energy, low vibes. Probably going would have helped me. I probably should have felt that. I mean, I went so far as like finding, I didn't know his address, but I found Bob's house on Google Maps just by doing a fun land search. I went over the map. I found Lockport. I looked for roads that looked like the one. I remember the word rapids, and I found that, and I found the roads that we ran on, and then I followed them along, and then I found his neighborhood and where it was, and I looked at the house. I was like, I knew where it was. I looked it up. I wasn't totally out, but it was a literal coin flipped, and I lost. You know.
I get it.
Did you work today?
All jokes aside, I get it. Sometimes the vibe just ain't vibing. That said, when it's hangs with specific people, I do try to tell myself, like, you like spending time with these people. It's not like the activity is fun, but the people are questionable, or you're like, all right, it's going to be a daunting activity, or I don't feel physically well, so like I don't want to be doing that because it's a physical thing. Like, I get it. And it's tough. It's tough in the heat of the moment to try to tell yourself, like, no, the way you're feeling now, it's not about avoiding, it's about actively trying to work out of it with specific people. So I get it, but we were bummed. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not gonna, inflate your ego too much. Would tell you about how much that, tell me more about how disappointed you were that you couldn't see me. Say it again.
I cannot talk about it without crying.
Say it until I feel something. It's the Nathan Fielder. I love you again.
I love you again.
But yeah, and it's kind of nice because we're not doing anything epic. There's some situations like Friday, it was just me and Bob and his family. So, I get to spend time with his boys, who for all intents and purposes are very similar to like nephews for me. Bob's wife, of course, she and I have known each other forever. So, your El Gato.
Keep going.
For those of you wondering, Matt's camera has yet again decided that it chooses not to engage in such nonsense.
Talk about it without crying.
But yeah, nothing extravagant. A lot of days where we're like, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? So yeah, we hit up a couple places just really for, no long term where we're, it's not one of these like previous years where I've like spent like 8 hours at an establishment. Like Bob and I went out for lunch on Thursday. Thursday night we hung out at home. Friday we went out for lunch, went out for dinner. And then Saturday went out for lunch for wings. Saturday night we didn't go out. Played some board games while having TV on in the back. Played a little bit of darts. So it's not as extravagant as some may say, but that's kind of why I was pushing you to come out, is because it's like I don't have to worry about, oh, like maybe he's just not, if you're just like, I don't really know, it's kind of the perfect setup for that. Because I'm not trying to sell you on some magnificent event. More trying to sell you on something that's generally good to be around.
No, it is. I do like, it's one of those things where, in the end I will regret not being there. And it's like one of those things that plays in your mind, because it's like, especially like with the transition to the new store, like it's been really busy and a lot of different types of stress that I've been absorbing. And last weekend I worked one of the weekend days and had one day off. And then this weekend it was also the math of like, if I didn't have like, I really needed like a whole weekend of like recharge. And I felt like if I went Friday night and came back Sunday afternoon and went back to work Monday, I feel like I would have missed like time to like get life stuff in order or just like recharge. And then I would have been deflated a little bit. That was part of it too. But again, it's like, I've always recovered from those things, but you're right. That was the thing that was in my mind about it. And no good reason for it outside of I didn't do it. You know what? I was just thinking what I could have done easy. Like, Saturday probably could have, when you said board game, I was like, damn, I missed that. It would have been easy for me if I was really on top of it to be like, hey, you guys, get on fucking Jackbox and I'll join you, like on video, and I'll hang for a second. Did I do that? No, didn't think about it. I'm just a piece of shit.
Could have been a thing. I agree. That very much could have been a thing.
We'll remember that for the next trip I bail.
Sure. Right. For the next cancellation. We'll cite this. No, I get that because I used to have that a lot, and it's hard because you have to also tell yourself, as you're like, it's like, listen, are there some times where you have to account for it? Yes, but you also have to check yourself to not let. Sometimes you have to go like, even though this work week sucked, I know I feel like I need a recharge from work, but maybe it's not a literal physical recharge, right? Is that sometimes I have to tell myself, and certainly it's been better ever since I changed employers, is I'll tell myself like, no, you don't get to fucking exhaust me for my time away from work. Like, it's like, I try not to let work get to me. I was just describing to Caitlin like earlier that she's like, how'd today go? I'm like, today's fine. I'm like, tomorrow's going to be a fucking nightmare at work. But like, I know something, it not like I have a premonition it's going to be bad. It's just, I have a lot on my plate tomorrow for work that I'm like, I just got to get through it. And like, when I get through it, I have to just remind myself, like, I don't care how it goes, positive or negative, but at 5:00, I'm not going to I can't let it affect me. Like, if I'm going to be stressed at work, guess when that stress is allowed to come back into play? 8 a.m. Wednesday when I'm back at work. Like, I'm doing my own severance. I'm making work Jeff and personal life Jeff. So I used to feel very drained from work, and that would seep into my personal life, and I really try not to allow it to. So sometimes that means literally going against your gut and being like, work's been a bitch this weekend or this week, but you'll know an hour into the activity, right? It's tough for you because it involved traveling. So like, if you are exhausted, you're right. A 2-hour drive when you're miserable from work might be so daunting that you're like, it's not like I'm going to someone's house and hanging out 20 minutes away. It was 2 hours. So you're like, I feel like crap. Now I have a 2-hour drive to think more about how much I hate something. Like, honestly, starting a drive when you're in a bad mood blows. Because if you're not excited to get out there, it's hard. So I get that. But I think, anytime that you're drained from work, you almost want to tell anyone who's inviting you somewhere, it's like, this is, again, on local, it works. But you go, I'll show up and I'll give it like an hour. And if that activity doesn't make me feel better, and I'm just like, I can't do this, then you at least know that you gave it a legitimate chance to resolve itself in another way, as opposed to, I just need to recharge. Like I said, recharges are absolutely a thing, but we got to be careful not to default to just being like, yeah, I think I just need a recharge.
Yeah, you know, as I'm processing, you know, I should have just used my resources too. Like, I don't need. It would have been like if I would have called you or something like that, which we don't do. Maybe we should. But like, I just don't. I'm not feeling it. You probably would have given me all this information or talked me into it. Maybe gave me the energy. I don't know. You know, who knows? But it's like I don't do that. But it's like maybe I should be more like into that kind of thing to be like, fuck, I'm not feeling it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm just not feeling the energy. Be like, dude, we're doing this. Like, oh, dude, blah, blah, blah. Like, all the things. Yeah, you can. It's like, not you can. It's not like a willpower necessarily, but it's like, just, hey, detach. Like, let's think about the positive shit. Like, all that. What's going on? Who knows? I don't know if it would have worked. I don't know, but I didn't try it. You know, it's a good debrief on how I handled it. I guess is what I'm processing. But
yeah,
you know,
remember the debrief for next time. Like you said, remember the debrief for next time.
It's true. I mean, we will see each other in less than 2 months now.
It's true.
It's kind of wild too.
It's true.
Let's see, less than from a month from today, I'm going to go to one Metallica show in Syracuse, and then we're going to go to a Limp Bizkit show in Philly a month later, 2 nights.
Love a good Limp Bizkit show. Are you going with Mark?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
300s, not good seats at the dome. We're going to try to rush the crowd. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to give a fuck, I think, if you just try to go further down, but we'll see. It's also, you know, it's nice at our age to just, I've been to double digi Metallica concerts. I've seen them close, all that. I could just hang. I could just hang back.
That's
you know?
like I'm cool with hanging. Like when I watch shows, like I'll be honest with you, even like punk and ska shows and stuff like that, I'm usually getting there at a decent time because if there is seating area, I want to reserve it and get a good spot where I can see everything but seating. That's just how I like to enjoy my live music now. So I am no longer big for the days of the pit and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it'll be good because it also gives you time. You know, we'll have downtime the days of the shows, but also there's a day in between. So you won't have the drive looming over your head. So that's a positive. So yeah, we'll be able to kind of do something else in addition. And hopefully we'll have decent weather by that time because end of May we could easily have, 80 degrees here. Ooh, so we'll see.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to let's get some stories from the week. It's not the weirdest thing. So, this week I met my dad out for dinner. It's just like the most duality of Auburn, like weirdness that I saw this week.
Okay.
I turned off the arterial down to Columbus Avenue, down by, the old Bombardier,
Sure.
blue, huge factory that's still there, just occupying space, not doing anything except existing and turning into Life After Earth, the show where plants just grow and consume all the things that were created. And I turned, and like the car in front of me, got a pickup truck, just like stops. I'm like, what is this guy doing? This is really strange. I'm like, whatever, okay. And then I see in front of it, there's 2 guys like walking very slowly in front of the car of his truck, just walking across from the barber shop, walking across the other side of the street. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And he just gets so mad. I could wish I didn't have my window down, but he's just like, fuck you. Just like birds out the, fuck you. Just out the window to these guys. And they're just like not really paying attention either. So I think it's making him even more furious. It's like he's just going off, like throwing his finger out the window. And then he just drives up a little, like the rest of the block and turns right hard. And I was like, dude, this guy's going to have at it. And so I just keep going slowly. And then just past the turn where that guy went, there's a kid pointing a little water gun looking thing at the road at me. And then I realize it's Bubbles. Like this little 6-year-old just like shooting his bubbles. He's blown into the street. So I was like, hey, cool, thumbs up. And then he thumbs me up back, and I was like, all right, that's very nice. I was like, it was like the most like fucking just angered reaction, like dirtbag Auburn to probably dirtbag happiness. This kid's probably a little. I mean, he's hanging out on the curb, no parents around. He's 6 years old with a bubble gun. You know, it's probably probably got a little. Dirt
I like that
in the
you
genes,
didn't
still,
you didn't.
at least he's positive. Very.
I like
positive.
that you went for the throat though, because like dirtbag is an insult. That's not like an economic status, Matt. You were like you called the child a dirtbag, but then like said like, you know what, this kid's great. I love this little dirtbag. Like what? Probably could have used better terminology. I got what you were saying, but you said it poorly.
Dirtbag is a spectrum. It's a spectrum.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
How wise.
I don't know why. Just like it was a very like honed in, siloed moment of like the caricature of Auburn and the people, and don't judge, because I wasn't as like. Because I wasn't mad about the guy slowing down or flipping the other guys off or the guys walking across the street. I was like, that guy's too mad for this. And then I almost was going to get mad at the kid because, like, is this kid really pointing a gun? I mean, it was a fake gun at the road. Like, what the fuck kind of neighborhood am I in? Then it was Bubbles. So then it was, like, just delight. And that's just a thumbs up to a thumbs up. Just a couple cool dudes thumbs up in each other over some bubbles in the road. I was like, wow, that turned it around real quick. I don't know. I guess it meant enough to me to mention it here today to make a note about it. I was like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened here? Like, I have no idea. This guy's turning around, probably turn around to go, like, run these guys over. And there's this little kid shooting bubbles out on the street because it's 55 and sunny. Not a nice day. Not yet, but it's an okay day.
What? It's a magical day. 55. Yeah. Sun's out. Bombardier's got plant life growing on it.
Did you know, I don't know if I ever told you that when I went to New York City, they had, like, the subway trains there are all, like, say, made in Bombardier, like, Auburn, New York.
Oh,
Like,
really?
almost every train that I went to. And I was like, God, these must be old as fuck. Yeah.
It was like when I
Auburn
used to go to, like,
shit for the
used to go to a
subway.
hotel and you'd see McQuay on the air conditioner and you're like, God damn it.
That's
I
right.
probably helped build this stupid thing.
We could have made those. Yeah.
Right.
Did we ever do a debrief on our McQuay days? Probably a little bit here and there, but I don't remember.
Not aggressively, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know that we ever did. It's a weird experience.
That was the college job to get in Auburn for kids coming back just for the summer. But, like, you weren't committed to any other job. Like, if you worked at Wegmans or whatever, you just go back to Wegmans or something and you're still, like... McQuay was the summer job because it paid a lot. Like $9.25 an hour or something.
Oh, yeah, with some overtime capabilities.
Your labor, yeah. So we basically did it, right, for 2 months, 2 to 3 months, depending on how long you're home, from 6 a.m. to like 4:30 every day.
Brutal.
In an air conditioner factory that was not air conditioned. That's
Boiling
the line that always
hot.
gets people when I tell people, I worked at an air conditioner factory that wasn't air conditioned. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, I do. The first day was the worst because I didn't know I should wear a fucking jock strap in there so my nuts wouldn't fucking get chafed on my leg. Like, I learned that the hard way. Holy fuck. It's sweaty as fuck. Because you had to wear jeans and steel-toe boots and, like,
Yeah.
PPE,
You're trying to wear
so
regular
you're
boxer
sweating your balls
shorts
off.
with that? That's no bueno. Yeah. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. There was it was interesting too because there was like college kids and like half the college kids were good workers and half were total degenerates. So like it was always interesting to see who you got paired up with and such because like there was the one year I worked there there was a heavy rotation like so folks, if you're not sure how factories work, a lot of times there's different lines. So you might have a line that works and builds items, pushes them down the line, and that line can have anywhere from 20 people on it to some of the larger lines might have like 40, 50 people working on it. So I worked on one line that was closest to the cafeteria to give you a perspective of it, but it was like heavy college kids. Like I'm like, how did this line even function when college kids weren't around? Because
Yeah, right.
there was like 20 people on the line, and no lie, 15 of us were college kids. But what that also resulted in is that the college kids ran that line and kind of got to dictate how things were going to go, because we always got the work done. It's just how it got done was usually pretty chaotic, like just people dicking around all the time. And so one of the things was that there was like 3 guys that did heavy rotation of, you knew from like 6 to 8 a.m., one of those guys wasn't going to be on the line out of the 3 because they were going to be in the bathroom sleeping, like sitting on a toilet, taking a nap at work. There was 3 guys that were on heavy rotation doing that. It was like a tagging system. One would come back, another one would leave. That one would be gone for about a half hour or so. They'd come back, another one would leave. Oh, the napping was real there. Big time. Big time.
Yeah, and the worst part was, like, so if it ever was a hot day in the summer, I mean, I'm guessing a lot of those, that's when a lot of the, I don't know, they were probably union, but maybe the union let them take breaks during the summer because the college kids were there, so, like, a lot of them could take their vacation or whatever, is my guess, but I don't know for sure.
True.
But you basically had one job, just do it all, and yeah, so it's like the fuck around time, especially because it's like, you know, it's a lot of manual labor jobs, so most of the, I mean, not that anybody who's doing it is dumb, or not that if you go to college you're a genius, but if you went to do this job in the summer, it's pretty low bar, it's pretty light lifting in terms of like the challenge of it. The big challenge is just getting there really, and you know, just the heat, and because you're just ratcheting shit. Like I remember, like, yeah, I would put on like just the coverings on one line. I would put on the coverings of like an air conditioner that went up in a school. That's all I did. And just I'll suffer. But there's plenty of like fuck around time for sure. And yeah, just the characters, like that's a great moment of like being, you know, because you start to realize that in high school and as you get older, but then you're like, maybe being an adult isn't a real thing. You know, it's like one of those, like, maybe there's no such thing as being adult, because these people are all in their 50s and 60s, and they live way more wild lives than I do. Like,
That's the closest thing we have to Neverland in Auburn was going to McQuay, because there was people like folks, when we say this, we're talking in generalities. There are absolutely some really cool, like nice people that work there and stuff, like lot of like, and but like you said, that's why it was all like characters. So you're like, all right, that person hates college kids. Now this lady sitting here at the wiring table, she loves college kids that work next to her, because as soon as you're a new person near her, she's going to spill the beans about everyone within like a 50-foot radius of her. She knows who's hooking up with who. Like, she knows, like, she'll just share really personal stuff that you never asked to listen to, but she's just so thrilled that a new person is here for her to talk shit to about other people. So like there was the gossips. Man, just people are itching to drive to the bar as soon as the clock blows.
That was the best.
The whistle blows.
The 4:30, whatever, like they get out of there. It's like you could not see people get out of there fast enough. As soon as they're out the door, lighting cigarettes, like getting in their Trans Ams, like back out and going to the nearest bar for the Bud Light fix. Like, oh man, so good.
Families upon families that work there, siblings, parents, siblings, significant others, everything that worked there. One was a tow truck. Or not tow truck, what the heck are they called? Tow rider, aka a forklift driver there. Really, really entertaining guy. He didn't hate the college kids. That was always kind of step one. Is you're like, does this person hate college kids? He didn't. So entertaining, but he was in a band, and he like brought me his CD. It was called Yetis in Church. I remember this vividly. His band's name was Yetis in Church. And he gave me a burned CD of their stuff. And I had it for like 15 years. And then I don't think it's at the cabin, but it might be at my family's cabin. And if so, now thinking about it, that would be 23 years ago, because he gave it to me the first year I worked there. But months later, the police would arrive at our factory, and turns out they were like looking for him because he sells drugs at the factory. And there was word that he hid drugs in the factory because he got tipped that the police were coming. So he actually allegedly took his forklift somewhere and like hid drugs somewhere. Because I remember the police walking through
Like lifted it up.
Yeah. And someone's like, oh, Ricky, they're here for Ricky, and Ricky knows it. Like something like that. Like,
Dude, I don't even remember that. That's fucking hilarious.
well, his wife, were you there when his wife was a tester, folks? So obviously after you build an AC unit, you have to make sure that it works. So
QA.
there would be little rooms, little quality assurance rooms where they would test it. Also, really great if you could get in with a tester, because then you'd go and
Best job.
visit them in the job, because all of a sudden they're in a room at 60 degrees when you're coming in from a 110
Cushiest
degree
job there.
factory.
Yeah.
Well, she was on, I know you worked on this line, Ike's line. And her name was Kathy, and Kathy, I guess, sent through a couple units that were not working. And so they went and checked on her, and she was like giggling and pointed at the wall and said, like, there's a kitty. Well, turns out Kathy was doped up on something aggressive, because she was literally hallucinating and talking to like management doing this. So she got sent away to rehab, aka Florida vacation, for like 3 weeks. So I remember that one happening. I don't know if you were working there when Kathy went away.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think that was after you had stopped going.
One summer I had to leave early because I did my Russia study abroad. I might have missed that or something. I don't know.
I've seen a man like gash his entire finger open, and then instead of going to the nurse's office, he literally took silicone from like a caulking gun, folks, just took silicone and went poop and just sealed it up. And I'm like, I don't know if there's poisons in that, but I'm like, it is not going to bleed. You did fill it with silicone. Right.
That is awesome. Awesome.
This man was like a 65-year-old foreman, and I'm like, you look like the guy that would be like, problem solved. I'm like, touche, problem solved.
It was also the first place, because my twin sister worked there too. So it's the first time I ever remember being asked. The two of us were there, and we were like, oh yeah, we're twins. Like, oh my God, you guys are twins? And she goes, are you guys identical? I was like, wow, that's tough to hear. That's like the first time I've ever heard that. I never even thought about somebody asking us that. But I was like, are you trolling? And I was like, that's not even a thing yet. I was like, well, we don't even
wait, that's
look
not a
alike.
term.
But also, her dick is bigger than mine. That's where I developed that little ditty where I use now. Because it's not the last time somebody's asked me. Like, it's usually, but this time she saw both of us. But sometimes I'll still be like, I have a twin sister. Some people will be like, oh, are you guys identical? And I'll be like, oh no, her dick's bigger. And they're like, huh, what? I'm like, no, you can't be identical. Because some people just don't understand what twins are, so I grant
I think
them
that's
that,
the
I
reality,
guess.
is that people just use the term identical thinking it means they look the same. It's like, well, no, there's there's a genetic makeup that's different.
Mm-hmm. So, and I would say in my life, like, for some reason, there's no more twins in the world than in central New York or upstate New York. Like, they're everywhere. Like, in my life, I've never really run across as many as I have here. Like, I swear to God, like, everybody's got a twin. Every third person you meet has a twin or has a twin in their family or something like that. Obviously, it makes sense. It's genetic. That's how that works. But we're a very prolific twin population here. But
It's true. In fact, my mom imported her own twin into Auburn. I mean, there goes right there. So, see, this stuff actually happens. People come here, and then they tell their twin, who then moves there.
wait, where are they from?
Well, my mom's from a small town called Waverly, like Southern Tier,
Oh,
like right on the border of Pennsylvania. She came to Auburn after nursing school to work at Auburn Memorial. And her sister, to my knowledge, did live in Auburn right after college, but then moved to Michigan and then settled in Volney, a.k.a. the outskirts of Fulton. and then moved to Auburn after she and my uncle
Right,
retired.
right.
Twins love Auburn. That's what we're trying to get at. Twins love Auburn.
Twins.
And the twins.
I once ran across. Let's get back to the subject.
Okay.
Why you guys are all here. I once ran into a Pornhub video that featured two identical twins, two young women, and I was like, "That's cool." And then you start the video, and you're like, "This is not cool." I don't know what I expected or what I was hoping to find, but the longer this video goes on, the more depressed I feel for these folks. I don't know why. It's like in your brain, like that commercial, whatever. What was the Twins commercial? Like Coors Light or something
Coors
like
Light.
that?
I think it was Coors Light.
Yeah, you're like, twins. You're like, yeah, twins. I want to be with two twins. And then you're like, when that happens, it's like, oh, wait, you actually are sisters and you grew up in the same house together and now you're doing
this.
Probably not of your own accord. And this is hard for us. This is not as sexy as I would have thought it was thinking about it. But, because how does it work for you? Do you guys even like this? Like, you can't really be enjoying this. Like, no matter what you set your mind to it. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna X out of the browser. I'm done for the day. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna leave. I made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry.
Well, I fulfilled something that I thought I wanted as a child, and then realized, you know what? I can't get over that hump.
That is maturity. Yeah, that's
right. That says a lot about your character. You really analyzed the situation and saw it for what it really was.
Yeah.
And whilst on paper, it's like communism. Sex with twins, it's like communism.
On paper, it's a great idea.
Great on paper, but in application, it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't really work.
That makes a lot of sense. Good.
Speaking of sexy time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I watched, this weekend was Honora. Have you seen Honora, the movie that swept the Academy Awards?
I have not. You know I haven't, but please go on.
Okay. Very good movie. I will say that.
Really?
I think it won the best movie of the year and the best actress. So
it did.
Riddled with sex. So the premise is our main character is an exotic dancer, and so tons of nudity dancing right from the get-go. She's very nude. All of her friends are very nude. And then this young Russian kid who's a couple of years younger than her shows up, just starts throwing money at her. And wants to get married to her, ends up in a bunch of other family stuff that gets involved. So it's sort of like a dark comedy, really. But just the amount of sex in it was wild, incredible, especially for a movie that won the Academy Award. But it was really good, and it was kind of weird because it's for the amount of sex and nudity in it, it wasn't sexy, in a way. You know what I mean? It's it all served. I've never seen so much sex in a movie that really served the story. It wasn't gratuitous or for the purpose of just flashing nudity or sex. And I was so I you don't even think about it the whole time because you're just really watching the movie and the characters and the story that's unfolding, which is kind of unfortunate because I was hoping to be titillated, but I was just in it for the story. So, but
hey, you still got Nosferatu in your back pocket, so.
Good. The reason I think they should have the Academy Award stripped from them is because there's a couple scenes in the movie where Vanya, our young Russian gentleman suitor, is playing PlayStation with her on the couch. And gosh darn it, wouldn't you know? I just happen to have a controller. It's an Xbox. He plays like this. Plays a shooter game playing like this, and she's talking, doing this. Playing, no, I can't, because I'm in a mission. Doing this. I'm you do not deserve the Academy Award. How many, just get one goddamn, video games are so ubiquitous now. They're so ubiquitous.
One director or the actor. Someone has to fucking know what a video game looks like when you're playing it. Someone has to know on set. I don't care if it's the fucking key grip. That key grip needs to go, Actually, that looks fucking ridiculous. Please stop doing that right now. I know I'm just fresh out of college, but you need to understand that looks like nonsense. Or when it's like, oh, are you going to play like PlayStation? Yeah. And they pick up like a fucking Xbox controller and you're like, how?
Yeah.
How are we doing this bad at it?
Always hold it at the bottom, like just on the bottom things, and yeah. Well, this is. I mean, at least he pressed the triggers. It wasn't just like this, where he wasn't pressing the triggers, but it was so fast, and it's just like
it just doesn't
it's
make
like
any sense.
like just even if it's a green, even if you don't know what game you want to put, maybe it's a green screen, and they're not putting a game on until post production because they don't know what the vibe's gonna be. Just like move a little bit, like couple,
right?
Not. Doing a little ASMR here, but
It
ruined it. Took me out of it. I lost my immersion.
Yeah.
Really ruined the titties for me.
Inexcusable.
Yeah.
But even like, because there'll be some that show the screen, and it's like you do realize you're having the actor push 17 buttons, and like especially older movies, because you'd show like Mario jumping once and they'd be going like this. I'm like, how can you possibly think those things line up? So even if you're not acclimated with the game, do you know what buttons do? Like, because I don't think you understand that buttons on a controller are supposed to trigger an action on the game. So dude, I knew where you were going. As soon as you said he was playing PlayStation, I'm like, I'm getting pissed. I'm already getting pissed.
I know we cannot talk about it enough until there's change, until there's a czar of video games and movies, which we really need. Come on, Trump, do what's right. You know what you need to do. But it's just. I think this was a Call of Duty game, but it's leaving just epic sketches out there in the world that we should be doing of like playing like. Doing a scene, but then whatever's on the screen is actually what would be happening if you were pressing the controllers that way. just like a spaz in Fortnite, just like yeah.
Yes, yeah. Have the aggressive
Mario
controller
Kart, playing Mario Kart and just never stays, never completes.
Don't line up. Yeah, don't line up the controller with the visual. Line up the visual with the controller.
Yeah,
I like that.
Or just actual like Mario, trying to get through one level of Mario, but playing like they do on the So. Hey, you guys don't steal our idea. It's genius. And that's what I'm going to do in my 43rd year, probably. Develop that sketch series.
Wow. That's a weird aspiration, but something.
Hey,
pen to paper.
Every year I do one new thing. Every year. That's my goal for it.
Okay. Wow.
Have you watched anything lately that you've been into? Listened to anything? Played anything?
No, listening especially. I've been really bad at finding new music or listening to new stuff. I mean, here and there I'll hear a song, and what I'll do is I'll save it on like Spotify. I'll follow the artist, and then I forget to revisit it. So that's the problem. Is I actually have a ton of saved artists that I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, it's got to be something that I just found at some point and saved it. So yeah, I really don't have a ton on that. As far as movies go, I saw the new Captain America. It's not bad. It's
that's
just,
right. Yeah.
It's whatever, I guess. But no, streaming's been, I don't know. Just a lot of Jeopardy. I watched all of Pop Culture Jeopardy. So that was like,
well, I remember we
30
failed on our stream to complete that the quest of it was a mistake to try to do it on the stream. That's for sure. How do you think you would have done after seeing it?
Serviceable. Okay. I absolutely could have won the first round.
You rounds?
Absolutely could. Yep. There was 27 opening rounds. There was 81 teams in this event. We easily could have won a round one. For sure.
I believe that. I believe it.
But it's tough because there is actually, do you recall, I think we even talked about the previous World Series of Pop Culture that VH1 did like 20 years ago.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
there was a team on it that they said that they participated on that. So that was actually really cool to me. I don't know if other like people watching it like knew that, but I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, that's awesome that like, 17, 18 years later, they got on this one. But I liked it. I think Colin Jost is great. I enjoy him. Having recently listened to his audiobook, he was never a major part of SNL for me, but I listened to his audiobook about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and then watched him on this, and I just enjoy him. He seems like he would just be a funny guy to be around. And sometimes that's the best comedy. Like, you can be a comedian with good stand-up comedy, but I might be like, you're kind of an ass, but your stand-up comedy might be good. Colin Jost doesn't have epic punchlines and stuff. He just seems to be a witty, fun guy. Like, seems like he'd be an enjoyable person to be around, and I enjoyed his audiobook a lot. I think he tells a very good story.
Wow, I never even heard of that. That's a wreck, huh?
Is his
is it like from childhood and all that, like kind of deal? Or...
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just kind of an autobiography. It's called A Very Punchable Face, I believe is the name of it.
That's a good name. That's a good name.
So, obviously with that title, of course, he's a little self-deprecating, what comedian isn't, but very, very easy listen. And I think, especially with comedian autobiographies, I think listening to a book where the author tells it is so much better than reading. And I'll tell you why. Like, you can only so much, text can only do so much for tone and intonation. So my thought is that when you read an autobiography and the author is narrating it, you are getting so much more out of it. Because they're going to use voice inflection. They're going to use somber tones and stuff. Right now, on the way back, I started listening to Bryan Cranston's autobiography. And not being a comedian, but of course having comedic timing given his role in Malcolm in the Middle and such, he does a great job of really telling the story as if he's just talking to you and dictating the story. So there's just a fluctuation in certain parts of certain chapters, or the story as a whole. He sets the tone appropriate, whether it's about love, loss, something funny, something really, his family's hardships growing up. Like, he has a lot of sensitive subjects and stuff, but it's so good because you're like, this person reading it is the one whose life it's about and wrote the book. And so, like, I think me even reading this non-fiction story wouldn't do it justice as much as listening to the person.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks who do their autobiographies often like just add in some extra stuff or like do sidebars or like do extra stuff. So it kind of
is,
it's fun. Obviously, when a book has editors and has story editors, and it's like they're trying to like build drama or suspense or patterns and like, or just kind of a cycle and a wave and just tempo and all that. And but yeah, when you're listening to, especially folks that are like us, just into podcasts and stuff, like an autobiography is just really just an engaging podcast format. Really, it can be.
Absolutely.
I did see have you heard of the show Adolescence on Netflix?
Doesn't ring a bell.
It was just number one, and I had heard about it, but I didn't know anything about it. So it was like one of those, I'll just start it. I don't know. Like, I saw the preview, and I was like 30 seconds in, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. It was kind of strange, but the preview was really just like the first minute of the show, which is like the police bust into a family's house and arrest like a 13-year-old boy on account of murder.
Oh.
So you're like, wow, that's wild. And it was, so it's 4 episodes. They're each about an hour long. And it goes through like the murder, all the people around it. It's probably one of the best things I've watched this year and maybe another year.
Wow.
I just really enjoyed the way, well, it took me like 20 minutes into the first episode where I was like, because I didn't read previews or anything, and I just seen the name, and I was like, it was number one, and like 20 minutes into the first episode, I was finally like, wait, is there not been a cut yet? And there wasn't. It's a long take. Each episode is a long take. 1 hour long take. So there's no cuts in it at all.
Really?
So it's like going within. Yeah, it took me. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, but it's all like it helps with your immersion in it too. Like it's wild. It's incredibly wild. And I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally noticed it. But I also think it deals with the subject matter with nuance and areas of gray and how it affects different people around it. It's not like a gotcha. It's not like a thriller. It's not a whodunit. It's not anything like that. It's not like making Hollywood a topic. It's like, it's very real. And I think even the nuance of the emotions and the relationships and what happens feels so real, which seems like a terrible adjective because I don't think it lends itself to anything because it's overused, but I can't think of a better word to describe it because I think maybe the word real gets overused for how to describe things. But I guess maybe the long take and the structure, but I think it was just like, it was like a technical achievement, but I think emotionally brilliant, gripping. I thought it was very thoughtful. There's tragedy in it, but I think it captures everything you could imagine from a story with the time allotted. So I liked it. I mean, I don't expect, like, I don't know. I won't say what to expect, but just it's worth a watch. So I was maybe because I didn't know what it was totally, and it kind of rocked me, but it was cool, very good.
How many episodes is it?
4.
And that's the whole series?
That's it. So basically 4 hours.
I can't wait for it to do well and they sign it on for 6 more series until it becomes shit.
I know, yeah. Adolescence 2.
Yeah.
That's good. Day 2. But it's like a better version of 24 in a way because it's all it's like all real time, but it's not doing anything grander than what it exists in this plane of reality, I think. And but also like there are characters and there are like people who have their own life. It's not just like being bland because life can be bland. I think there's
so I assume it's heavily dialogue driven.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it is British, so put your subtitles on. Isn't it?
Isn't it, Dan?
Isn't
it? Don't worry. I've watched The Office. I've watched Shaun of the Dead. I'm really good at listening to British when it comes to media. It sounds like something I would want to check out. Put the phone down and
now I can't wait for Bob to come back and say he hated it and my recommendation's stupid. That's what Bob does.
Oh, that's good.
And that's why I didn't visit you, Bob. And it all comes out.
Oh.
You don't like the things that I watch. And I will never hang out with you again because you don't like the things. I gave you one recommendation and you said it was stupid. So guess what?
So I recommend you leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's probably as good as place as ever to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, look at Bob getting another mention. All of the friends that we share did. Bob, Steve,
Justin,
Joe,
Myrtle, Agatha, Herschel.
Shout out to Brett and Sarah's new baby that's probably going to be born before the next episode comes out. We may share a birthday. I'm pushing for it. Push. Aries season.